I'm honored to welcome him as the newest member of our government caucus. Chris's decision to join the government caucus at this crucial moment for our country is exceptionally valuable and important.
I would think over the last number of months, I wasn't feeling that I was aligned with the ideals of what the leader of the opposition had been talking about.
And just in terms of how many other Conservatives feel the same way that you do that are currently sitting in caucus?
Yeah, I would suggest that there probably are those that are in the same boat, but I will let them tell their stories if that time comes.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has yet to comment publicly on the floor crossing. Other Tories, though, are calling out d'Entremont, accusing him of turning his back on the party's election platform that he ran on just a few months ago.
6 months ago, he ran on an affordability agenda. He ran to lower deficits. He ran on a stronger economy, a pro-growth agenda, and he's turned his back on that. He's turned his back on his voters.
I think this says that Mr. d'Entremont is a man, if he plans to vote for this budget, that can't be taken at his word, and that should be incredibly disappointing, I'm sure it is, for his constituents.
Now, as far as who might be next, two of the names circulated as potential floor crossers seem to acknowledge as much today. One of them is Edmonton MP Matt Jeneroux. Two Liberal sources tell us after d'Entremont, Jeneroux was the Liberals' next target for defection. Late this afternoon, however, his office sent us a statement that reads, quite simply, despite the rumors being circulated in Ottawa, MP Jeneroux is not crossing the floor and remaining a member of the Conservative caucus. And Quebec Conservative MP Dominique Vien's name has also been floated as a potential floor crosser. She posted a video to Facebook today saying that she's not going anywhere and reaffirming her commitment to the Conservative Party. So where does that leave both the Conservatives and the Liberals? Scott Reid is former communications director to Prime Minister Paul Martin. Corey Tonight was Ontario Premier Doug Ford's campaign manager and former director of communications for Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Hi to both of you. Glad to see you on this weekday. Scott, I'll start with you. Both of you have experience, if I recall, with floor crossers going both ways. If you look, put it in a historical context, in your view, how significant is this one?
Pretty significant, particularly because of the added allure that there might be others. So we'll see if late data development suggests maybe that won't come to fruition. But if it did, then obviously it would be really significant if it actually delivered a de facto majority to Carney. That would change the landscape enormously and probably trigger a leadership crisis within the Conservative Party. But look, even without that, floor crossings, like in politics, there are few events that are more disruptive, more destructive. They rip through a caucus like a dose of salts, and they create all kinds of questions and turmoil. So we're watching all that unfold today. A caucus that at one point in its past has received floor crossers with open arms is now saying, my God, it's a betrayal of everything fundamental to politics. And people say the same thing when they're on the other end of it. So it's great sport, if nothing else. But in this case, with a budget vote hanging in the balance, a confidence vote hanging in the balance, it does rise to the level of high drama.
Yeah, that's the interesting part here, right, Corey? We're facing down a confidence vote at a time when, as of yesterday morning, the government was, or the Liberals were three seats short of a majority, and now they're just two. How big of a deal do you think it is?
Well, look, floor crossing. I kind of agree with what Scott said. It's not new to any of the parties in the House of Commons. It always leaves a bit of a bitter taste in the mouth of the party who's lost a caucus member and fills the one receiving them with glee. I don't think it's that meaningful in the sense that they're still short votes. Like close doesn't count when it comes to government confidence votes. You need to find those extra two votes, and I don't think that one MP crossing a floor really changes the predicament for the government. Like they need a couple of people to stay away or a couple of people to vote for them, and right now, we're not hearing any clear indicator of either one of those things. So I think the drama and speculation will continue until that question's settled.
What does it say to you, Scott, that speculation is out there, though? And it has been in the ether for a few weeks. This is the first proof point that it wasn't all just rumor. And now it's, pretty specific that there could be a few more in the offing, so much so that it's not just rumor, that in fact, Chris d'Entremont himself suggested that was the case today.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the reason the floor crossings are such dramatic events, because they're a very personal statement. The people who cross the floor are making a personal statement, either about their own ambitions or, more importantly, about the leadership of the party they're departing. And so that's where people went to. That's where media immediately asked, Chris D'Entremont, like, so is this because you can't bear the leadership of Pierre Poilievre? Are you guys on diametrically opposed planes? And, he was polite about it. He didn't rub it in, but he made it clear that he's not on the same wavelength as Pierre Poilievre, and he suggested that others are not as well. So if there should be more defections, that's why it would trigger a leadership crisis for Poilievre. And I can tell you, I've been on both ends of this. I've welcomed people into our caucus, and I've watched people depart it. I can remember when David Emerson, who we recruited to run for Paul Martin, after we lost the 2006 election, accepted a position as a cabinet minister in Stephen Harper's government. And I remember feeling deflated, bit personally betrayed. You take this stuff personally, and you can bet that Pierre Poilievre and his operation right now, they are taking it very personally.
Yeah, from everything I hear, there's a lot of work going in behind the scenes to kind of prevent anyone else from making the same decision. In your mind, politically, Corey, or strategically, if there are more, how much of a different sort of political impact could there be, in particular, on Poilievre's leadership?
Well, it's clearly not a good thing to have happen to your leadership, but I think what the challenge is the polling numbers that show that the Conservatives are winning on virtually every issue, except perhaps healthcare, have a significant issue advantage, except for leadership, where they're polling behind, and so I think that that's creating some pressure. Within the party and within the caucus, but I don't think it's pressure to the point where you're going to see a serious challenge to his leadership. Like, I expect that he's going to easily win the leadership test in January, and I don't think there's going to be a bunch of other people leaving caucus. I just don't think it's at that level yet. But I think it points to, the vulnerability that exists in a parliament that's this close. Like, there's going to be a lot of pressure on MPs to stay where they are. There's going to be a lot of pressure on MPs to floor cross, and not just with the Conservative caucus. I think there'll be similar pressure on the NDP and the Bloc, although the Bloc's a little harder to get to defect.
Yeah, but they might be harder to convince. Do you think that's true, Scott?
Sure, I do think that's true, but I'll just revisit this leadership thing, because I'm in agreement with Corey. Like, I think when it moves to the forum of party members, you look at Pierre Poilievre, he surely has a grip on that. So do I think he's going to lose that leadership review as a consequence of what happened today or what might happen over the course of the next few days? Probably not, even if it goes really south for him. But my God, stack these things up. He trails badly the prime minister when it comes to preferred prime minister and leadership approvals. He lost He lost an election that he was supposed to win with a thumping majority. He lost his own riding. Now he can't keep his caucus together. He's losing members of parliament. If he were to compound that by losing the majority, sure, he might win the leadership review. But what a wounded, weakened person he would be as a leader.
Yeah, but that would have to happen first.
Yeah, go ahead, yes.
Yeah, but that would have to happen first, and I think it's probably low. I think it's low probability that he loses another couple MPs. But look, it's never good news when this happens to you. It's as you say, Scott, we've been through this going both directions over the years, and it's always a bit of a gut punch for the leadership and the leadership team. But if your reaction to that is to really crack down on caucus and be very, very negative, you can make your problems worse. So it's kind of a delicate dance you have to do with caucus to keep them on side. It can't be too much carrot or too much stick. Otherwise, you risk making the situation worse.
Yeah.
I have just a few minutes. I wanted to get each of your reads on the budget. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Scott. Yeah.
I was just going to say, one of the challenges is a management challenge in a situation like this, when you know that there's a threat that others could bail. And so you have to figure out, almost on a person by person, circumstance by circumstance basis, who responds to cajoling and an appeal that's positive, and who responds to negative reinforcement and the threat of the whip. And you got to really judge those things carefully, because when they go wrong, they could go badly wrong.